Beginners often treat a new piece of music like a checklist. You start at measure 1, decode the notes until you hit the final chord, and then consider the song finished. Professional practice operates as a set of overlapping cycles, 3 interlocking gears: acquire, transpose, and vary, repeatedly act on the same material to drive the learning process. Mastery requires a distinction between the elements of music, like notes and rhythms, and the processes of practice. These pillars describe how a musician interacts with those elements over time. The ultimate goal is to build an internal library of musical relationships. We can see how these 3 gears build that library by running a simple 4-bar melody through the system. The first pillar, acquisition, moves music from the external page into your internal recoverable knowledge. The goal is to make the material available even when the score is gone. You reach this through progressive precision. First, you decode the pitches and stabilize the physical motions. Only then do you add the rigid constraint of a metronome to establish rhythmic accuracy. This is the core of scaffolding. You hold back a layer of complexity, like external timing, and introduce it only at the moment you can productively manage it. Successful acquisition transforms a piece into a permanent, available part of your physical vocabulary. Once you possess the piece, you apply the second pillar, transposition. This forces a shift in focus. If you change every single note in a melody, what actually makes it stay the same? When we shift our melody from the key of C major into G major, every absolute pitch changes. To preserve the music, we look past the surface complexity of specific note names. We focus on the structural simplicity of the intervals and harmonic functions, like the 1, 4, and 5 chords. These functional relationships remain identical across both keys. This proves that keys are structurally analogous systems. Look at this brand new 2-bar phrase in F major. Calculate what this would be in the key of D major. Rely on the intervals and scale degrees rather than guessing pitches. Pause the video now. The solution begins with the underlying structure. We map the scale degrees into D major first. Once that framework is secure, the specific pitches fill into the mold. Transposition builds musical literacy because it requires you to extract the rules connecting these instances. You move from a specific example toward a transferable structure. The third pillar is variation. Here, the musician intentionally alters the material to see what can be changed while the original idea remains recognizable. This process demystifies improvisation. We define improvisation as deliberate variation performed fluently and spontaneously in real time. We start by applying a single device to our C major melody. A trill rapidly alternates a note with its neighbor, changing the surface while the underlying musical location remains the same. Next, we might apply a rhythmic alteration. Musicians build a vast internal vocabulary of these small transformations, which they can eventually recall and recombine. All musical interest develops from this balance between recognition and change, the interplay of sameness and difference. Practicing all 3 pillars simultaneously can feel overwhelming. To manage the load, you apply them to a single piece through a staggered schedule. This is a spiral curriculum. You revisit the same composition under different demands, spreading the 3 processes across different sections over time. In this diagonal progression, you might be varying the A section, transposing the B section, and just beginning to acquire the coda. This staggered structure implements the wheels within wheels principle. It allows you to achieve immense depth and creative variety without constantly needing new repertoire. Your practice should eventually answer 3 fundamental questions. What is the piece? What makes it the same piece? And what can the piece become? Apply this same cyclical philosophy to your written work. Use your workbook to index unfamiliar terms and record points of friction. Treat your practice as an ongoing diagnostic dialogue between you and the music. True mastery is recursive. Returning to a familiar piece of music is not evidence of a failure to learn. It is evidence that a deeper understanding has given you new questions to ask.